If you have spoiled siblings, when did your parents understand how bad they were? My brother's about 6 years younger than I am. My parents gave him too much attention because he was identified with high-functioning autism when he was 4 years old. Besides that, he seems pretty regular. He's just so spoiled. A lot of the time, he would use his status to get what he wanted. More often than not, I mean almost all the time, he had to have everything I had, so we had extras of almost everything except the things we shared. He would rub anything he had that I didn't have in my face in any way he could. I begged my parents for a 3DS for my 12th birthday when I was 11. I was given one, but I was told to give it to my brother whenever he asked for it or they would take it away. It was that a lot. I was visiting my aunt when she saw my parents taking my 3DS from me and giving it to my brother against my will. She scolded them for being so biased. They gave me back my 3DS right away and then blamed me for what happened after my aunt left. I didn't have to give it to my brother again. Instead, a few days later, my parents got my brother another 3DS as a surprise. My brother would often have temper tantrums because the party wasn't just about him like on my birthday or someone else's. He would say outright that he was mad that he wasn't getting any gifts or being able to blow out the candles on the cake. My parents found out the hard way that they couldn't put up with my brother's behavior at those parties. In fact, they were kicked out of a few of them for trying. Because of this, other kids at his school stopped asking him to their birthday parties. When it came to me, birthdays were some of the only days I could just be myself. My parents made me spend all of my time with my little brother or else. The year before the event I'm talking about, my parents paid more attention to him during my whole 13th birthday. They even asked if I would let my brother blow out my candles since he was mad and cranky. I said no because I wanted to put out my own lights first. At first they called me a selfish brat, but my aunt stepped in and told them they were being unfair again. She said that because he is autistic, my brother got almost everything between the two of us. No one else in the room helped my parents except my brother, who was still crying because he wasn't getting to blow out my candles. He tried to spit on my cake because he didn't get what he wanted. Luckily, my wonderful aunt stopped him before he could do it and yelled at him until he broke down in tears and ran to my mom. The other adults there were very mean to my parents and they promised they would never ask me to let my brother blow out my candles again. Like the rest of the party though, they mostly just went along with it. From that point on, my aunt pretty much took care of everything. My parents told me a few weeks before my birthday the next year that they would still get me gifts and a small cake. But my birthday party was pretty much scrapped so that my brother wouldn't have another temper tantrum. They didn't seem to care when I told them I couldn't believe they were doing this to me. Over the next week, I told my friends, teachers, and even my school psychologist what was going on. All of them were shocked by how uncaring and insensitive my parents were. The vice director even found out and made me feel better. My parents found out about what was going on through social media. They grounded me and told lies to me because I told so many people. I didn't let that stop me. After that, I told everyone at school that I was grounded. This made things worse because many parents called and basically asked, "What the hell is wrong with you?" All of a sudden, I wasn't grounded, but I didn't get an apology. When my dad told me I wasn't on probation, he just walked into my room with his arms crossed and told me. That was it. No one told me anything about my party, so I thought it was still off. My brother thought it was funny and made fun of me for not getting to party, but at the end of the 2 weeks, my parents surprised me with a party at my favorite restaurant. They started saying that was their plan the whole time, but I knew it wasn't true. Everything I saw showed that everyone was very mad at them for what they did, and it showed in how they talked to my parents. That's why they threw the surprise party. They wanted to save what little image they still had. However, I believe they had to spend a lot of money that day just to make room for me. Our group of friends and I had dinner at my favorite spot, which had a small playground. Even better, I got the PS4 game system I had been wanting for a long time. I could tell that everything was planned ahead of time and bought at the last minute. Aunt laughed and said that my dad had a look that made him look like he had lost his wallet. My brother made a big deal out of the fact that I got that surprise party. But since so many of my friends and their parents were there, my parents finally told my brother what was wrong. They stopped his temper tantrum this time when he tried to knock my cake off the table. My brother got a timeout for the first time since he was a baby. My mom had to stay with him to make sure he didn't do anything bad. He tried to run toward the cake or the gift several times, but there was always an adult watching. My dad even kept an eye on him to keep him away. In the end, my mom had to take my younger brother to a nearby McDonald's to play in their play area. I learned after the fact that she tried for at least an hour to get him to leave the play structure. The only reason he came out was to go to the bathroom. After that, he tried to run back in. My parents never tried to skip my birthday again while I was still living with them. They never worked as hard or spent as much money again, though, during the last 4 years I lived with them. My birthday parties were at a nearby pizza place with no gifts and a cake that didn't even have my name on it. I don't want to sound spoiled, but I was a little let down that I never got another cake with my name on it. My aunt told my parents that every year they said they forgot to decorate the cake. I think the only reason my name was never put on another cake was because my brother would never eat any party cake that had someone else's name on it. They also couldn't put his name on any of my cakes because it would have made them look bad. Still, I thought it was great that I had a day that was just about me and not my brother, since everything else was about him. My brother would make a mess at all of my birthday parties while I was still living at home, so my mom would take him somewhere else to calm down. My brother and I still had to share my PS4, but it was still mine. When I turned 18, I moved out and took it with me, and my little brother didn't like that at all. He threw a big fit until my parents went out and bought him another PS4. My parents had to finally face the effects of making my brother so spoiled when I moved out and wasn't there to help them with him anymore. He was very angry that our parents didn't get him a PS5 for his 14th birthday. He has been grounded for I don't know how long now that he has caused hundreds or even thousands of dollars worth of damage during his rage. He grabbed a chair and used it to break everything in front of him. The last time I saw my parents, they seemed to be mentally fine. Also, my aunt told me that they told her they wish they could send my brother to the military or a private school in the future because they can't handle the monster they made. They are not able to afford that choice, though. I would be lying if I said it wasn't funny in a strange way.